In the Canisius Wiki, individual pages are organized hierarchically within spaces. Child pages, or children, connect to parent pages, with the main or home page of any space being the penultimate parent page. We discuss this in greater detail within other tutorials, but for now we'll discuss ways to provide navigation options for the visitors to your pages. This video assumes you maintain multiple pages for your office or department, and the highest level parent page you have may or may not be the space main page. For instance, if you're maintaining pages for an office within a division of the college. You should, though, have a top-level page for your office and maybe a few pages attached to that as child pages, as I have in this demonstrator here. However, the wiki software called Confluence, while it supplies a left-hand sidebar menu that I just opened up, it's collapsed by default. It's also not the easiest way to reach pages in the page tree within any wiki space because it's not reachable via mobile devices, and depending on how some pages are organized in the wiki, may not provide a great navigation option for other reasons. So you shouldn't rely on it to show your pages to visitors or help them to navigate. Instead, let's look at several options to add navigation within your pages. The simplest way to add page-to-page navigation in your wiki content is using the Children Display macro. This gadget automatically builds and maintains a list of child pages below the level of the page to which it is added. So let's install it and see how it works. So I have a page here. It's got a couple of child pages. I could manually add links to this page that point to my child pages, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Sometimes that's useful. But if I only need a simple list of child pages on my main office page, I can install the Children Display macro. To do that, I click Edit to open the editor. And then I start by typing a curly braces. And this opens up the macro code editor. And this is pretty simple. If I start typing Children Display, the wiki is going to rather eagerly decide that's what I'm after. There's only one macro that fits that name. And so before I even get it typed in, I'm going to be able to choose it from a menu. And I can just hit enter on my keyboard, or I can click it within this pop-up menu. Now it's installed. Now I can click on it and I can click edit, and I get a whole bunch of options to configure how it works. And you can experiment with these on your own. But suffice to say, all you need is installed. So if I click the blue update button in the lower right to update this page, now notice that that code is replaced with a series of links to the child pages for this space. There's two great things about this macro. It updates automatically, so if I created another page right now, it would appear as demo page 4. Let's do it. Once I publish this page, and I go back, I'll use the breadcrumbs to go back to my top level page. There it is. If I delete a page, it'll disappear. Moreover, it only shows pages as clickable links if the particular visitor has permission to see that child page. So for instance, if demo page 4 was only available to faculty or even just a handful of employees, anybody who did not fall into either of those two groups would simply see demo pages 1 through 3, but would not know that there was a demo page 4. So it's a pretty smart little gadget. There may be times when you'd rather build links to child pages manually, rather than let the Children Display macro handle the list. A common reason is that you want to list your child pages, but also perhaps a page or two elsewhere in the wiki, perhaps maintained by an adjacent office, that because it's in another space, or it's otherwise not a child page of this page, will not be picked up by the Children Display macro. So I'll click Edit, and I'll get rid of the macro for now, and instead I'll do an example of a link. In the editor, I make sure the cursor is where I want that link to be, and then up in the toolbar, I click a chain link icon, Insert Link. Confluence presents me with several options here in this dialog box. Most often helpful is the recently viewed list. If I was just looking at any of my pages, for instance, this demo page, it's going to be listed here. And I can keep that in mind. If I'm going to add a link, I can go look at the page first and then come on to the page to which I want to add the link. And here it is under recently viewed. So I can just add that. And there's the link. If I add a link, and I don't happen to see it here because I forgot to look for it. I can use the search function in Confluence. However, that's going to search every space, so you want to be very specific about the page name. Here it is. I can add that link. And as I said, I can add links to pages that are not necessarily children of this page or even in this space, just like I did the other links. And a viewer will not necessarily see a distinction between them, so sometimes that's useful. I can edit these links by clicking on them while the editor is open, so I'm not going to automatically go to the link. I could do that with this button here, but I click Edit, and it brings me back to this screen where I then will see, in this case, the link location is kind of obscured, but the link text is here too. When you're linking to pages in the Confluence, I recommend not changing this link text to be different from the page title. If you want the page title to be better or more descriptive, change the name of the page, but leave this link text consistent with the page name. That's just a good practice. Incidentally, if I wanted to link to something outside the wiki altogether, I could click Web Link, and then I could add that link as well. And in this case, I've actually replaced this link, but I could just as easily have added another link. I click Update, and now those are published. One last tip. On your child pages, you can use the same link tool to create a link that goes back to the parent page for your office. So for example, click Edit. I'll just type back. I'll highlight it, click Link, and I'll go to Recently Viewed. Here's the parent page I was working with. Click Insert, and maybe I want this to look a little nicer so it sets apart from the rest of the text. Maybe even center it, and click Update. It's helpful to add a backlink at the bottom of each of your pages, just because that helps your visitors navigate back to the parent page for your office.